Everybody has a dream, but sometimes even our biggest ones in life don't turn into what we thought they'd become. Raised in a tough neighborhood by a tougher, loving mother, young Joe Smith becomes the National Basketball Association's #1 draft pick. Full of hope and determined to win, Joe's pregame ritual would be scanning the arena seats for the father who abandoned him. But Joe's relationship with his own son is threatened as well, as Joe travails through the triumphs, tragedies, and temptations, playing for a record 12 teams in the unique underbellied NBA universe. As Joe gets one final shot at his favorite team growing up, he discovers that the worst thing is to lose, not in sports, but in the game of life, with the potential loss of the ones who truly love you. We now join part 3 of Joe's candid conversation with filmmaker Walter Richardson about a superstar turned journeyman, an everyman like us, simply trying to find the way home.
Yeah, that was the first year in Oklahoma. The first year they just moved from Seattle to Oklahoma. And we stunk it up. PJ Carlissimo was our coach.
So that's your second time with PJ?
PJ, yep. And that was probably, that year was probably the most minutes I played in a while.
When did you first injure your knee?
Milwaukee.
So 3 years back?
That's when I first had a scope. I had 2 scopes in Milwaukee.
During the season and the off season?
Off season, and then.
So you played through it. You played through the pain, and then in the off season you got it cleaned out.
Yeah.
So even after you had the first scope, you didn't smoke weed those 4 weeks like the champ in Milwaukee?
In Milwaukee.
Because I would think if I'm home on painkillers, should I rather be smoking weed than to be sitting here
No,
popping all
because I
these
think
pills?
by then they started the random testing.
Oh, okay.
By the time I was in Milwaukee, they had started the random testing throughout the season. My first couple years they didn't. There was no testing. It was one test, and that was at the beginning of the season, during training camp. And after that, it wasn't no more. But I think maybe my 3rd or 4th year before I got to Milwaukee, they started doing the random test.
So what about So we right now, let's see, we went from Cleveland. Where was we at after
Oklahoma
Cleveland?
City.
Oklahoma City still got the same wife? Or
Yep.
They stayed married for a while.
8 years. I was married for 8 years. But we was together before I got married for a while before that.
So in Oklahoma City, did you have any other kids?
But my wife won't stay with me at the time. Where did she go? I think we had already got the house in Arizona back then.
So you bought a house in Arizona?
Yeah.
Why Arizona?
Ask her that.
I mean,
because we had a crib in Virginia, and I kind of drove her crazy at the house in Virginia.
Why? Because you was hanging out
too much, and so we sold that house. She didn't want to go back there. So, we went to Arizona, looked around. I like the area. It's a nice area, Scottsdale.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, everything was pretty much looked brand spanking new.
Right.
It wasn't that expensive. So we found a nice spot out there that we could add on to, and that's what they ended up making a home.
So even though you was playing in Oklahoma City, you bought a house in Arizona. So she's out in Arizona.
She's in Arizona.
So you balling out of control now. You do whatever you want.
I lost my mind.
Because she's good.
Yeah, she's good. I know when she's coming in town. I know when she's leaving. I know, you know what I'm saying? So they set up at home, kids in school, kids straight, everybody's good.
Okay. So you doing whatever you want.
Okay.
So Oklahoma, so you didn't have any children in Oklahoma?
My daughter with her was born, Jamie was born before I got to Oklahoma.
Okay, so
when I was in Cleveland, we had our daughter together, Jamie.
Okay, so right now
right after I had
4 kids in the county right now. At that point in Oklahoma. 2 daughters and 2 boys.
Yeah.
All right, so now after Oklahoma, where'd you go?
Back to Cleveland.
Back to Cleveland?
Yeah.
For a whole season or just for
a whole season? I got traded from Cleveland to Oklahoma because they got somebody they thought would help them get them to get them the championship. So I went to Oklahoma that year, and it's crazy because during that year when I was down there, we played Cleveland, and after the game, we're walking down the hallway, Mike Brown, he come up to me, Cleveland coach Mike Brown, he was at the time, and come up to, I've never seen a coach, apologize for making a trade. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was so apologetic. He was like, I really didn't want to make that trade. They kept, it was issues, his front office issue. They thought, we'd be better. He was like, I just want to apologize. And that's probably most of the reason why I kind of went back to Cleveland that following year.
So after that year, you were a free agent?
Yeah.
And then you signed with Cleveland
yeah.
to play a backup role.
Yeah.
Backing up who? Varejao.
Actually, it was Varejao. So our starters was Varejao and Z. Then we had me and Ben Wallace coming off the bench. So it was like we had a hell of a front court.
Yeah, that's pretty decent. When you went back to Cleveland, did you have any more children?
Nope.
So how many years you stay in Cleveland?
Just one.
And then where'd you go?
Atlanta.
Okay. So Atlanta, you was here with Joe Johnson,
Josh Smith.
So you signed, you got traded there, you signed a free agent?
Signed free agent.
It was pretty good, man. No, because usually a dude in your situation,
right there, getting over.
I'm not gonna sign him. I'm not gonna sign him. You know what I mean? If he got an expiring coming through, we would take a chance like that. Why would I sign a guy your age to come in and let A, veteran leadership, B, skills?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I know you're not gonna disrupt the locker room.
Right.
And
they know because I know your history.
Right. That's pretty damn good, Joe. I'm telling you, man. You don't understand, and I keep trying to tell you this. You are a big deal. You are a big deal. You just don't believe it.
Oh, man.
Because see, you've been traded so much that I think it fucked with your psyche. I think it fucked with your psyche. It's like, they just keep trading me. I keep going to, yo, do you realize, if you look at the statistics of the average dude that stays in the NBA, it's like 3 years.
Yeah, 3-4 years, yeah.
You got 16. And signing new contracts, which is just fucking unbelievable. You know, and I'll say this, you get done wrong on the internet. They do you wrong.
Oh, I know.
They're like, he's the most traded, whatever. Hold on, man. Hold on. Play for the most teams and all that shit. I'm like, well, wait a minute. Even if you did play for the most teams, who else you know stayed in 16 years?
16 years.
That's another reason why I think this project is really good, because it's like, yo, you don't understand.
I got almost 13,000 points, 7,000 rebounds. You know what I'm saying? I still get treated like that, bro.
They don't understand. And not only that, I mean, look at your Maryland credentials.
Right. That's what
it's fucking crazy. It's fucking nuts.
Yeah.
Now I can sit here and talk to a guy who was a star and only played 3-4 years.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It was a fucking coming out of college, number one, whatever, star. He's gonna be the next this, the next that. I can come up with lots of names. Marcus Fizer.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying they didn't have good college or high school, but I'm saying you didn't stay in the league that long.
Exactly.
You were projected to stay in a long time. You didn't stay in that long. For whatever reason, injuries, whatever, I don't know. I'm not
That's what I was
like,
man. Also, speaking of that, the other day when I seen him on TV doing the broadcast and shit, I'm like, yo, now how the fuck he get a job? And I'm sitting here sending my demo out to everybody, and I can't get no fucking job. This is crazy.
You know why you can't get one? I'm gonna tell you honestly.
Why?
You want to hear the honest truth?
Why?
You don't realize who you are, dog. I got the same problem at work, dog. And I started talking to people different. I started talking to people different. I see, I work for the #1 bank in the country.
Right.
I am somebody. Right. You want to work with me? Let's go talk. Right. Before I was like, well, we can see what we can do. Right. Nah. You're a superstar, dog. You gotta see yourself. When you see yourself as that, you start talking like that. You can broadcast anything. You know the game inside and out. Just like when we went, like I always say, when we went to Maryland that night to that dinner, you were like, oh man, I'm like, do you see these people? People are standing on line, dog, to take a picture. And it's because It's because, like you said, look, you worked your whole career. You worked to be humble,
right?
To have a good rapport, right. A good image, right? Now it's gonna pay. You gotta let it pay off. Dog,
right?
Dog. And we gotta finish these teams today. We're gonna get done. So where are we at now?
Where are we at now?
Bulls.
We just left Oklahoma City. We left Cleveland the second time. We in Atlanta. I was going through Atlanta, yeah. But it's somewhere I'm missing something because I had my baby boy with Jaden, the youngest one you seen, born somewhere in the middle. That's the last one.
That's your last
after
child.
The daughters, after the girls, he was the last one. Jaden, the last one.
Okay, so after Atlanta, where'd you go?
New Jersey. From Atlanta, I was a free agent in New Jersey.
And they signed you? Was that in New Jersey? When they were still at the Brendan Byrne Arena?
It was still in Jersey, yeah.
Right.
And then
that was with Jason Kidd, Kenya Martin. Were you on
that was after. That was
after.
Avery Johnson was the coach then. Come on, I'm in the 2000s. That was like 2011 now, dog. I'm in 2010
you stayed too long.
I'm in 2010 now, man.
You was in after Kidd and them?
Yeah.
So Kidd and them was in New York.
Kidd was retired.
Nah, he wasn't retired. Because when he retired, he coached the next season. You were still playing? Oh, I need a drink. I'm talking, man. You must be Benjamin Button.
I'm telling you, brother, man.
I need a drink.
If my knee would have went out, I'd be right there with Kobe and KG right there.
That's what I was thinking.
That's what I'm telling you.
Playing today?
I'd be right there with Kobe and KG right there, bro. My
you want some rum?
I'm good.
I need a drink.
He said,
I'm sitting with the African American.
Yeah, so I got the jersey.
So was your career longer than Kidd's?
With Jay's Kidd, 16, I think. But he was he came in a year or two before I did. I think he went 15, 16 years up.
So
I think he went like 17 years.
You played as just about as long as Kidd.
Yes.
They do you dirty, though. They do you dirty. I think it's just because the amount of teams.
Yeah.
But they don't know. It's a free agent contract. I'm free to go wherever I want.
I want, yeah.
Right, so you're going to say,
that's why I'm saying they think like they just
think it's all trade.
All trade.
Right.
Yeah. But no, it's maybe 4 or 5 of them.
That's what it sounds like, right?
The only trades that really came was mid-season. Like anything that happened like the mid-season, I told you I just finished the season there, that was a trade. Everything else was pretty much out the free agent.
Well, because if I sign you to a 2-year, then the expiring that last year is worth something to somebody.
Right, exactly. So, yeah.
So, when you was in New Jersey, who was on the team? Because they was clearing out the team to move them to Brooklyn. Because once Kidd left,
we had Devin Harris was our point guard. Chris Humphries. That's when he met Kim Kardashian.
You on the team?
Yeah. I remember the game she came to. Because Jordan Farmar knew her. So,
from living out here. She used to go to UCLA.
Yeah, and so I guess she was in town for
Fashion Week
or something like that. So we got her courtside seats right across from the bench.
Farmar got her the seat.
Yeah. So after the game, I guess they go out to eat, whatever. So the next day, Jordan Farmar come in. He's like telling Chris the story. Like she kept asking me who this little light skinned guy was. So he, Chris Humphries.
She actually liked that dude.
Yeah, she was.
She's asking about who he is.
She asked about him.
See, nobody knows this guy.
Hey. Yes, she asked about who he is.
They never tried to hook you up with none of the cars, like Chloe or Kim. Like nobody tried.
I ain't never fuck with them. I ain't never messing around with their crowd like that.
Cause that was a whole.
Yeah.
That was that LA shit.
Yeah.
That was that Hollywood shit.
Yeah, I wasn't into that.
I just want a regular girl. I just want a real.
Because I was married then. I was married then.
Right.
I was still married then.
Alright. Anything happened in Jersey? Did you hang out in Newark? Did you? There was clubs in New York. I mean, you hung out in New York?
I lived right across. I lived on the Hudson, right over the other side of the Hudson.
Mm-hmm.
So I used to go over to Manhattan all the time, kick it.
Who was you kicking it with?
Teammates, young boys on the team.
From Jersey or from the Knicks?
No, Nets.
You never hung out with no Knicks players?
Nah.
So you'd always hang out with your teammates. Where would y'all go?
It was Greenhouses and some other spot that we used to go to. I can't remember the name of it.
Just hanging out, nightclub,
Yeah,
whatever.
just yeah.
Puffy,
Not at that
Jay-Z, anybody,
time. Not at that time.
R. Kelly, somebody.
No, shoot. Anybody be in the club at any time.
But I'm saying, when you was there, you 6'11". They my man, whatever. You didn't make friends with none of the
I ain't really
local music industry people.
It was pretty much me and the team, me and my crew, me and my teammate. We'd go up in there, get a little section and
hang out.
just chill out.
Did you know any football players? Saxophone Barris, he used to hang out a lot.
Yeah, he from the crib. We played against each other in high school. He used to come out but when I used to have my crib in Virginia, he used to come out of the house all the time, play Madden. I used to bust his ass in Madden all the time.
All right.
So yeah, Plex. He wasn't there at that time though. He had already shot himself.
Who'd you used to work out with, like strength conditioning and stuff?
I had a trainer.
No dudes from like Braylon Edwards, like other sports never came by that? Like
not
work out?
sports, but early in my career, different other players. Like we would work out together, like me, KG, Chauncey, like other players, but not from different sports.
So it's
we all had the same trainer pretty much.
Right. But it's up to you to keep your body.
Yeah. I mean,
you mess up, you get cut. That's on you.
That's on you.
Your money.
That's on you.
Right.
So that's on you. I mean, they treat you like a man now. They want you to like respect the game the same way.
Do you think they treat you like a man too early? You know what I mean? Like you're 19, 20, and they give you all this freedom.
Yeah.
It's too much.
I mean, it's definitely something you got to grow into. You can't just be going from college. You throw any college, like we talked about before, you throw any college student out there like that would go from nothing to a couple $1 million overnight and see what happens.
Because I know if it was me.
Right, it'd be bad.
Yeah.
It'd be bad. And the only thing that's keeping half of us in order is we do have some kind of structure. You know, we know that we got a routine with the game, we got whatever, but we do have some type of structure. That's what keeps at least some of us halfway together.
So when you were in New Jersey, were you thinking my career's coming to an end?
Yeah, I knew it was about to, because I wasn't playing that much in Jersey.
But what about your knees?
My knee was swelled up anytime I played. That's why I wasn't playing that much.
Did they know that? Like trainers and everything?
Yeah. Like Avery, sometimes he would even ask me if I wanted to play at night, you know, Avery Johnson, because he knew the effect of my knee. So, you know, sometimes I'd be like, yeah, I ain't dressed up for nothing. You know, I always want to play.
Right.
Yeah, even to the last game, I could play the game. You know? It's just my knee. I just couldn't keep it from swelling. Yeah.
Is it swelling because it's been cut so much, or?
No, it's fluid in there.
It's fluid.
And I think I got a cyst on it that I need. I still to this day need to to this day need to get it taken out.
So after the Nets, were you still married?
I was married, but the divorce was coming. Like,
and she wasn't in New Jersey.
She was in Arizona.
All right, she's at the house.
Yeah.
So she's sitting at the house saying, "This is fucked up."
Yeah.
There's no relationship.
Yeah. She's at the house. I come on time. I see her in the summertime. She stopped coming, making trips back and forth. Talking about she wait for me to ask, like, before you was just coming on your own. Now all of a sudden
she's starting to realize that you ain't into it as much. Because the only reason I was coming on my own is because I would initiate it, but you not initiating. So after the Nets, where was it? All right, we finishing up. So the Lakers, did they trade for you, or was that a free agent?
Trade. Because that happened within during December. So I got out of the trade.
How many years did you play for the Lakers?
Just a half season.
Yeah. So when you were there, who was there?
We got LeVar, Cole,
Ron
Artest, Powell.
Okay, so you were there the year after they won the championship?
Yeah, so I came the following year.
They beat Boston. So potentially they had a chance to win again.
And that's why New Jersey kind of made the trade for me to come out here. Better towards that end of my career like that.
Give you the opportunity.
You gotta give me the opportunity to win the championship.
What happened?
We lost in the first round.
Why? I don't remember why though.
No, we played terrible, man. One practice I sat down, me and Kobe, we sitting around joking around, we going through some plays and stuff, and we doing some defensive stuff, and I'm like, yeah, you guys never went over defense before? He's He's like, hell no, we just win championships off them. Yeah. I was like, what the hell? But we never, I mean, they no defense. And Dallas ripped us apart that first round, 4 games straight. Couldn't stop nobody. I was like, Cole,
they just said put Ron Artest on. You want to stop somebody, put him on. That's
Ron Artest, and Cole was like, I do it in me gambling. He was like, and I gamble. He said, me out here gambling. He was like, that's our defense.
So his defense wasn't, it was never any sets per se. It was just like,
he just gambled.
See what I can do.
Passing lanes, whatever. Yeah, that's why you see him always on the break, even if he don't get the steal.
Because he don't have no set.
Because he just running, he's just taking off. He just out there taking off. I'm like, man, this is crazy. So they like just trying to see, I mean, just seeing it. Because I'm gonna tell you the difference. I can't like when I like the difference like in Cleveland, Mike Brown was a defensive coach. So that like our defense, like we went over defense probably the same as much as we went over offense. It wasn't like we mostly offense and then here and there we gonna go over our defense just to go over a scheme. Nah. We went over defense like it was our offense. So like as far as rotations and everything, like everybody was like boom, 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 boom. I got to LA, I thought Phil Jackson was like the guru that, man, no defense was learned. I was like, this is the worst I've ever seen. Like, because Brian Shaw was teaching the defense, and nobody, they can never get it. So, yeah, so it's like, it was bad, bro. No defense, couldn't stop nobody.
So, when you were with the Lakers, how did you know it was, I mean, your knee was swelling. How did you know it's like, I can't do this no more?
I mean, that wasn't, I wasn't trying to come back one more year. Yeah, I wasn't trying to come back one more year. And, but we had a lockout. We had a lockout, the last lockout. And that went until the start of the season. And by the time,
they were like, we got all these new
doors was closed on 16-year free agent veterans.
Right.
So, so that's the only reason.
So you actually would have played one more year, at least.
Yeah. Like if the season would have started on time, I think I would have been.
They would have had to sign.
Yeah.
I mean, not because they would have had to, but it's like he's here.
Right.
Knows
Exactly.
the plays.
Right.
It's a good backup.
So, but the lockout happened, and by the time the season started, I think they had 2 weeks to get ready for Christmas Day. Remember they opened up Christmas Day that year. They had like a week or two.
Did anybody call you? I mean,
because everything happened.
You were a free agent.
Yeah, and they had to fill their roster so fast. Like usually what they do, like when they got a full time to fill it up, fill their rosters from July, because free agency started July 1st. So usually when they have their full time, they'll go after the main cats first, and then they'll kind of filter it down from there. But when they only had a couple of weeks, they had time to do all that filtering, so they had to go fill their rosters up as soon as possible.
So did you call your agent and say, did I get any calls?
Nah, because usually he'll call me and let me know.
So what were you doing?
I was just working out, trying to stay ready at that time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, working out, trying to stay ready. Then once the season started, I realized that was it.
Did you file your retirement papers yet? So you can still play if somebody called you.
Somebody called me, man.
All right, let's just backtrack for a second. So when you had these children, were you keeping up frequent visits with them?
Yeah.
How often would you see them?
I would see. I mean, I couldn't the thing about it. She knew I had the kids, but she would be pissed off when I see them. So most of the time I had to sneak and see them. So most of the time whenever I'm on the road or something, I might fly them in for a game or for a night, and then right back out.
Who would you contact to fly them in?
The mama or somebody. I told you the mama, baby mama.
Oh, you mean your wife? Who was you sneaking them from?
My wife.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So I would contact,
okay. So your son that's at Rice. How often did you see him? Because in the article he was saying, my dad was doing all this stuff, and I didn't really practice with him.
Right.
I
saw him a few times when he was younger. Not after he was about 10.
So until when? So from 10 to what?
10 to last week, 2 weeks ago.
Like we've How old is he now? Was like, 17?
16, 17, yeah. Like we've been talking, but I haven't seen him until a couple weeks ago.
Are you of the mindset that I'll never do you the way my dad did me?
Yep. With all my kids. And that's why, that's why it was important for me to make it up there for that game.
Oh, that was very important.
You know what I mean?
That was very
important. Game be right here. And I'm trying to figure out now even ways that I can get down there to start working with him, because now I've seen him play, and you know what I mean, like know where I can help him now. I'm looking to figure out ways to get down there so I can do that with him now more often. So it's kind of like earlier than what my dad and I went through later on in my.
Mm-hmm. So the house in Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
Did you sold it?
It's on the market now.
It hasn't sold yet. When you sell it, are you gonna get money from it?
Yeah.
So you're gonna have the resources to go see yourself.
Yeah. Because actually, my ex-wife, she put it on the market, but
whose name is it under?
Mine.
Is she getting a cut?
Yeah.
I mean, is she getting a cut because you owe her money? Or is she getting a cut?
No, because of the marital agreement.
The divorce.
I signed it. Yeah.
Did you sign a prenup? Okay. So it's joint assets. But y'all still talking stuff, and she's.
Not so often now.
Why? Because money got involved now.
I mean, I just look back and think about a lot of stuff that happened throughout our marriage and throughout my career, and what happened towards the end, and it's just a lot of stuff.
What happened towards the end?
What, with after our marriage?
Yeah.
No, just how the divorce went down and stuff.
It was dirty?
Yeah. Like she tried to drag me through the mud.
How long you been divorced?
Shoot, we got divorced a month after the season ended that year.
Mm-hmm. What? The Lakers season?
Yeah. So we was divorced, I think June of that year, May of that year, something like that. Yeah, May or June of that year. So I kind of started thinking about different things. Like that's real sudden and real, you know what I'm saying?
The timing was impeccable.
Yeah, So, and now and like you said, how long has you been? It's been 4 or 5 years, and she's still. I was in Arizona this week in court with her. I had 2 days in court this week with her. I feel it's more fair treatment now, but before she had she had whatever she asked for.
Did she bring up like all the kids that she had?
Yeah. So all that worked in her favor.
Yeah, how did the courts look at that? They're like, oh yeah, we did. They kind of like, you did do it.
Yeah, in Arizona, you got to pay for it.
So you got married in Arizona?
No, but we got divorced in Arizona. I got married in Minnesota.
Is the divorce under that state or under the state you got married in?
The state you
got divorced.
Because everything was right in Arizona. Our whole divorce is through the state of Arizona.
Oh, when did your mom pass?
2007.
Who were you playing with?
I think it was Cleveland.
Who told you? Who called you? Oh, was she sick?
She was sick.
She was sick for a while?
She had she passed away from pancreatic cancer.
Yeah. So you kind of knew it was coming.
Yeah.
You just didn't want to. You don't want nobody with their mom.
Yeah, you can see it happen. I ain't never seen my mom look like that ever. I'm like, oh man, just the way that shit broke her body down.
What did she say to you? Like, what do you remember that she said to you as she was going through this process?
I mean, nothing. I mean, she didn't really have to say much.
My great aunt said to me, she said, don't worry about me.
Mm-hmm.
Go live your life.
Mm-hmm.
I never forget that to this day.
She said something like that.
You know what I'm saying? She said, don't worry about me. I did everything I was supposed to do.
Yeah, pretty much something similar. But she, because it was, because we had to do a conference call. And I was on the road. And she had to sign over, signing one of those papers where, no resuscitation papers, So they had all of them, they were in a room
in Virginia with all my brothers and sisters, and I guess they had like the conference phone. And I was in, I can't remember where I was at. I was on the road somewhere. And we all on the phone, and we all sitting there talking before they rolled her in. I guess they rolled her in her hospital bed. Mm-hmm. So we all sitting there talking and and then, she come in and, tell us, once she passes away that she don't want,
all the machines and stuff.
Yeah, that's it.
She let me go.
Yeah. So then I was like, that right there, that was the toughest thing I ever heard. You know what I'm saying? Cause
she said it.
Like she said it, yeah. You know what I mean? But to hear your mom, my mom to me was the strongest woman I ever known in my life. Like couldn't nobody. My mom was so strong. And for her to say that, she was like, that means she like I said, I fought long enough. I fought hard enough. And that was like the worst thing I ever heard. That was the worst news I ever heard.
Did you talk to her? You talked to her after that?
Yeah.
Because that's pretty early on when you kind of know.
Yeah. Talked to her, went home, saw her a few more times. Because she was still in the hospital, so saw her a few more times. The last time I was there was when she passed right there in my arms.
Really?
Took her last breath.
Where were you? Okay. Visit?
I flew home for a visit.
And you went to the hospital?
Because they called me in maybe a day or two before, and they told me that it wasn't good. So flew home for a visit, and I was on my way leaving the hotel with my wife, and we on our way to the hospital. And I get a call from my sister. She was like, Joe, you need to hurry up. It's not looking good. So as soon as I get up there, I get to the room. And she grabbed my face, and that was it.
Hold on, I don't mean to keep You walked in the room.
I walked in the room, and she just wanted to see me one more time, I guess.
So she was kind of holding on. You walked in the room, you went right to the bed.
Right to the bed.
Was she sitting up or laying
back?
Did she reach up?
I looked over, she put her hand right here on my face. Kind of slow and kind of...
Was her eyes open?
A little bit. Like it was barely open. And then she took a breath, and that was it.
Was she still holding you?
No.
She had let go by that time.
I just sat in the room for maybe an hour and a half where the doctor let me sit in there. I just sat in there.
Yo, man, you got a special situation. I mean, I'm saying you're a special person, man. You ain't like the regular cat. You know what I'm saying? Like there's these regular NBA cats and stuff. You got like a real story. You come from, like, no matter how bad stuff was, your mom always made it like it was good.
Like it was good, right? Exactly. And that's what I guess that's where I get it from too. Like no matter how bad it is, she never showed it. She never showed it, no matter how bad it got, how bad it is. I can get a sense, but I never knew I never got an idea how bad it could be.
So she got all these kids, right?
Uh-huh.
And she's like, I'm gonna give them all a part.
Right.
One of them gotta be something. You know what I'm saying? One of them, and you was the one, you just grabbed it.
Yeah.
And no matter, you just held on to, like the way you talk about your mom, man, it's making me want to cry. You know what I'm saying? But you grabbed everything she had, and like when we were talking earlier about the job she was at, like you saw all this, like my mom was busting her ass on it. So that same work ethic you kind of took to the court.
Yeah, that's one thing she told me when I was young, and I used to mow grass, mow yard, go around mowing lawn. And I fucked up my neighbor yard one day. The neighbor came and knocked on the door. I was real young, like 10, 11 years old. Yeah, the first thing she told me, never leave a job half done.
See, this is crazy. This is so
then on, I was like, yeah, that's always there. Never leave a job half done. That's how I always carried myself. I started, I'm gonna finish it.
Because you know what you bring. You know what you're gonna do. You know I'm gonna play hard.
Right. I know
whatever y'all are doing. I'm gonna play hard.
All this controversy, I'm gonna play hard and I'm gonna play the right way.
Right.
And I ain't gonna bullshit. I'm gonna play hard. I'm gonna play the right way. I ain't gonna be selfish. I'm unselfish. I'm gonna go in here, dive on the floor. I'm gonna take a charge. I'm gonna rebound the ball.
Right. I'm gonna give you give you Joe Smith.
Right.
You know what Joe Smith is, and that's how come you kept signing free agent contracts. Regardless of what the money was, they don't offer free agent contracts to dudes 12 years in like that.
Up there. Once you get over 30-something,
Yeah. So when your mom passed, did you had the funeral at her church that she always goes to?
Yeah.
You paid her?
Yeah.
Was you a pallbearer? You were a pallbearer. Because you were the main.
Yeah. No. My one of my other brothers was, I think it was mostly my nephews. I got all my brothers and sisters. They got a bunch of kids, though.
So when y'all went to the cemetery, did you break down at all, or you were?
Oh man, I broke down. I was fucked up. Man, I was through. Like I told her, like right after she passed, I sat in the room with her. The doctor, usually they roll the person out, but he let me sit in there with her for like an hour and a half, and I just sat in there, just holding her hand. And my uncle came in and sat with me for a little bit. He left out. He's like, "Let me know. I'll be right out here. Let me know if you need me." I sat in there a little bit.
Did you talk to her while you were in there?
Not really. Not really. Just kept looking at her, just staring at her. And
did the way you see life change after that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? As far as like your kids and everything, like everything kind of reinitiated itself on what she ever told you.
It did. I mean, just saying, just some of the things that she just told me and taught me throughout my life. I mean, everything just starts playing back in your head, just all the time, real quick.
You wouldn't have had a career like that if it wasn't for her. Not that long. You'd have gave up.
Yep.
Most cats would have been like, I'm done with it.
That's what I'm saying. Especially after being traded and and going from team to team. Yep.
And then a lot of cats would have took their money and started buying drugs and.
Yep. That was it. Yeah, I was crushed for a while. I didn't melt down to that like that, but it was tough.
Right.
The thing about it is, once we had a funeral, we still had a few. She passed in March, so we still had April. We still had maybe a handful of games left. We still had some games left, so I can go kind of clear my mind for a couple of hours, during the day.
Right.
If I ain't had nothing to do, I would have broke down, probably had a meltdown.
So your mom died before your dad died?
After. Yeah.
So after the Lakers, after the lockout and everything, where was you at mentally? I mean, what was the next thing you was gonna do? But did you take were you sitting around for like a year just chilling or getting high or just not coming out the house?
I started recording and doing shows.
So you tried to get into something right away.
Got into something right away.
You don't want to sit around.
Yeah, because I've heard what happened. I heard I drive people crazy just sitting around. So I wanted to stay active, so I just started recording, doing shows. I did a bunch of shows all around the area.
So what did you hear about people sitting up around?
Just just fresh out of retirement, just not knowing what to do. Yeah, not knowing what to do with what the next step gonna be, what your next job gonna be. Just sitting around. A lot of people just used to traveling, being on the road all the time. Used to the crowd cheers, used to all that. Even the booze. So
So you even missed the booze.
That first year it's kind of tough. Just sitting around with nothing to do. You're like, man, I need to go on a trip. I need to go do something. I want to go play this game. I want to go. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And all that shit just playing back in your head.
So the stuff you were doing, like doing the shows, you had the little league over at the park at Venice Beach. You was just trying to stay busy.
I was staying busy, yep.
Okay.
Yep, doing the Venice Beach League. I was over there coaching. I performed out there one time. Performed at a bunch of clubs. Released 2 albums.
you just, like you said, you're like, I'm not going to, okay, I'm done with that. You're young, so you retired at what age?
I was 36 when I retired.
retire at 36, it's like
I got a long ways to go.
Right.
Like, yeah. But it's always tough that first year for anybody though. Because that's something you've been doing since you was like 8, 9 years old. Playing the game of basketball, especially if you can't do it like you want to. Like my knee, I can't like.
Right.
Sometimes I want to get out there and play some full court sometimes.
But you can't really play like that because I might have called you up the other day. I'm like, man, Joe come here, he probably kicked my ass bringing him up here with these kids like this. Like it's nobody.
Kids.
No, it wasn't kids, but I mean it's like nobody of your skill level. You know what I mean?
Right now I just get up and down the court.
Man, that's what you say. You getting up and down the court and somebody else getting their ass in the
That's what somebody told me not too long ago. They was like, cause I was somewhere, the dudes and my old neighbors at the Summit. I used to go to the court up there and shoot around with them. And one day I was up there, I was like, he was like, man, you really shooting it. I was like, yeah, you know, the older you get, the better you shoot. Well, the white dude's like, I don't know about that
one. What we should do, right? Me and you should go around these little courts, right? And I should be out there shooting and shit, right? I say, oh, me and my friend play you for $1,000.
This podcast series is produced by Walter Richardson and Kathy Berardi. For more information, visit upwardmediapartners.com. Associate producer and editor is Charlemagne Raffles. Writer is Doug Ward. And thank you for listening.